Hey everybody, welcome to your Scorpio horoscopes for the week of October 29th to November 4th. It's Scorpio season, it's Halloween, all the creepy crazy stuff is going on this week. And we're actually coming into this week from a full moon, which of course is your sun in opposition with the Taurus's moon. And so we're kind of coming off of that this week and moving into Halloween, of course. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, it's just everything is pointing to it's going to be awesome, right? Well, it is. And I'm not saying that it's not going to be. And Halloween is definitely going to be a nice little break from the craziness that will be going on this week astrologically, unfortunately, because that is just how it is. We're going to start with the moon still being in opposition with Mars and Mercury, maybe not the sun, but definitely still in opposition with Mars and Mercury. And Mars, Mercury, and the sun, all in your sign, all in opposition with Jupiter and Uranus all week long. So this is like 5 out of 9 planets, 6 when you add the moon into this at the very beginning of the week. That's almost all the planets really not getting along with each other. And that's kind of a big thing. Jupiter and Uranus are focused on the home, while all of the other planets that are in Scorpio, and Scorpio's focus is on career. This creates that feeling where you're being pulled into all these different directions. And while you're trying to focus on your career goals, there's a lot of home stuff that's taking up space in your reality also. And so it feels like you're in the middle of a tug of war, and you're the rope being pulled back and forth, which is very frustrating, especially at the beginning of the week with the moon being a part of this. And it's really going to be difficult not to have a severe emotional reaction around this, which you want to try to avoid as much as you possibly can. Oh my goodness. Maybe take a nap. That yawn came out of nowhere. Like literally, it came out of nowhere. Maybe take a nap if you need to, and manage your frustration as much as you possibly can. It's kind of common in the world actually right now where people are getting triggered a lot. And it triggers an emotional response that usually comes out of the person when they get triggered. It's also very important, because you cannot eliminate triggers, to learn to work through your triggers so that you can avoid that emotional reaction coming out. And the reason why this is necessary is because you can't just go around fighting with people all the time. I mean, I used to think that. It turns out, no, you can't just go around fighting with people all the time. There are certain circumstances, certain times where that is just inappropriate, or it's not going to work in your favor, or something catastrophic could happen in that process. So it's always better to minimize the damage ahead of time before there is even damage to minimize, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, this opposition is going to go on throughout the entire week. So while the moon may not be a part of it outside of Sunday, this opposition is going to continue throughout the week. So this challenge is continuing probably into next week. Next week it'll lighten, it won't be quite so much, and then the week after it should be gone. So unfortunately, we just got a couple of weeks of dealing with that. At the end of the week, the moon moves into a square with just one of these planets, actually, not all of them, and it looks like Mars. No, it's the sun. The moon moves into a square with the sun. Now, this is what we would call a third quarter moon here, but it does present a bit of a challenge when it's the people, not just in your home, but relationships in general, which are sort of getting in the way of your career success. Now, that seems a little weird. Let me just elaborate. a lot of times when you're very driven to succeed in your career, it takes a lot of time. And then your family starts, well, I don't really get to spend a lot of time with you. And that's kind of frustrating. When your friends come in all of a sudden, or your extended family come in all of a sudden, and they're like, hey, stranger, yeah, we never get to see you anymore. Like, what's that all about? You start to get this overwhelming feeling like everybody is against you and nobody seems to understand that this is something that you have to do for your own success. And again, you want to emotionally react to that. And if you do, it just upsets people. And then people don't want to talk to you anymore. It's much better to just sit down and calmly explain to people, I'm so sorry. This is a really busy time for me. As soon as it's over, I'll give you a call, you know? It's always difficult when you're in a situation like that. But other people definitely can make it more difficult than it needs to be. We're already feeling guilty that we're not present with everybody in our lives, but other people make that more difficult than it needs to be. You can react to that and make it worse, or you can try and smooth it out. And Scorpios are very powerful and magical people. You have the ability to put out a flame or make a bigger fire. And it really is up to you. Sometimes you only have seconds to make that decision, but it really is up to you which direction you want to take that fire in. So I would go a case by case basis throughout the week. Some fires you just want to burn it down, some you want to put out. It depends on the situation, but the more you are in control of managing this problem, the easier it will be to manage the situation. That's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending me a tip or donation through my coffee link. That's ko-fi.com/heavy metal psychic, or I have conveniently put the link in the description of this video where you can just click to it and go right to it. Just easy peasy, right to it. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, don't fall for the BS. Just keep on focusing on what you need to focus on and make it a great week. I'll see you guys next week.